Hello there and welcome to a very unique and impromptu episode of Elite FPL with my co-host Stevo. Good morning, Stevo.
Good afternoon, Dan. Good morning, good welcome, good evening, whatever you want to, whenever you listen to it. Although, let's get real here, Dan. We're scheduling this for 7 p.m. I think. I can't remember.
Yes.
When does kickoff start tonight? 8 p.m.
Well,
so...
we've got. I'm glad you asked because, and I'm doing some terrible camera work here. Aston Villa Leeds starts this amazing double game week off at 8 o'clock.
Do you want to tell where we are?
Yeah, we are in the beautiful Dartmoor at the moment in Devon. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, and obviously Steve and I are together. Great to be back on the channel doing this, as I say, impromptu stream. But yeah, massive double game week coming up. And we start off tonight with Aston Villa Leeds, a game which, let's be honest, I don't know if you're going to have many assets in this particular match or...
No.
Yeah, it's not a game. Some people, if you at a real stretch, you could consider Watkins, but it's not really a game that's going to be on our focus for this particular double game week. But
no, but it's a Friday night kickoff. It's a Friday night kickoff, and like I say, I think so. It's an so it'll be 6:30. So I'll be releasing this. This video's coming out now at 5:30 this evening, Dan. So I'm deliberately going to be releasing this an hour before, just to get like we just said, get the content out there. Hopefully, Jason's going to be doing either, well, ironically, a deadline stream, but preferably a post deadline, because then he can react to what me and you have done with our teams, Dan. But we'll get onto that whenever. Yeah,
let's get on to with Villa Leeds. I'm probably going to go for a draw in that one. Going to go 1-1, 2-1. But nobody cares about that game.
Look at the fucking horses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, Dan. That's a beautiful sight. Get a few of the views, Dan.
Mate, this camera work is very jerky at the moment. But let's get on to the meat. That's the really important fixtures on Saturday, obviously, and that's going to be in people's minds with this double game week. Man United, Man City, because of course Man City featuring in this double game week heavily for many people's considerations. And yeah, Man United, Man City. What do you think, Steve-O?
Well, who do you have in that team? Who do you have playing in that match?
Currently, Rashford, Luke Shaw.
Because me and you won't be aware of this, but the points between me, you, and Jason are I'm on 1,084, ahead of Jason on 1,084, and you're above me on 1,087. That's how tight it is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be interested to know what transfer plans you've done, if you're going to be doing any, and what double game week players you've got. So you got Rashford, which is what I've got. Who else?
There's only so much I'm going to give away in terms of my transfer plans.
Well, remember, this is going out. This is going at 5:30, so we don't need to worry about that. In fact, I've already done my transfer, so you don't need to worry about what I've done.
Well, anyway, as I said, I got Luke Shaw, Rashford.
So Luke Shaw and Rashford, yeah.
And obviously Haaland and De Bruyne. So yeah, that's my coverage in this game at the moment. That could change over the next few hours in terms of getting another Man City asset in.
Really? You're thinking of going triple up Man City?
Thinking, yeah. There's different options that are pretty obvious to people. Defensively, that's a tricky one. The only one we've got really nailed on is Ederson, really. Although Guardiola's saying that he's got some crazy ideas to beat.
View of that, Dan.
My camera work at the moment is probably going to be giving people motion sickness. So
you probably spin the camera to the front.
There we go. Yeah.
Cyclist in front of us.
Cyclist, yeah.
You can get a video.
There we go. But anyway, going back to it, yeah, there are other considerations. Mahrez, even the fullback Lewis as well, that's done quite well.
3.9.
Yeah, 3.9, bit of a bargain. That will be quite a maverick pick. But in terms of a actual prediction for this game, what are you thinking, Steve? Because obviously it's a massive game in terms of the title race, Man United's aspirations, top 4. There's a lot at stake here.
This is really, really tough. From my point of view, I think that I'm gonna do the camera work. Let's do the view there. That's the view me and Dan have got now. Right there, lads. Right there. And then to the left over there. Can't see anything over there. Anyway, Dan's stealing my water again. I think that it is going to be extremely tight tomorrow. Obviously, Man City with their 2. Did you watch that game? City losing 2-0 to.
No.
Right. I can't get my head around that. I don't know what the hell happened. But what I do know is that Southampton beat them, and Man City seem to be in a bit of a. I don't know, away from home, their form is pretty much hit or miss, mate. It's like, 3 wins in a row, then they draw, then it's 2 wins in a row, then they lose, then it's a win, a loss, and then I'm probably completely wrong with that. I'm probably speaking absolute nonsense, but I do know that I remember doing the old preview with Jace the other week, and I was looking through Man City's away record, and they were pants away from home. They're not great. Man United at home are phenomenal. Like, really good. I'm going to go for it, Dan. I think Man United nicked this 2-1.
Well, I mean, they beat Liverpool this season at home. They beat us 3-1. So they've got good record in the sort of bigger games. Like you said, their home form is very good. This is going to sound a little bit strange, but the one thing, obviously as an Arsenal fan, I'm hoping United get the result. I just wish this game was an evening game. And anyone who watches the channel has heard me on the channel before. Anyone knows that I've got this thing about the evening game for the home team, really. Because it's under the floodlights, derby. There's something about it. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, with Man City losing in the League Cup in midweek,
Which is crazy. Again.
Yeah. I mean, well done to Southampton, but I feel like they're going to be a wounded animal, really. So I'm actually going to go opposite. I'm going to say Man City are going to win, and I'm going to go 2-1 to Man City. I hope that's not the case, but
why don't you hope it's not the case? Oh yeah, for an Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean United are a rival as well, of course. But in this race, I mean, obviously, if it was Man United to get the result, then come Sunday, that's it becomes even more massive, doesn't it, against Spurs? But we'll get on to that. But yeah, I think should be a cracking game, really, in terms of assets.
Well, Jason's thinking of captaining Jason. Jason's going to be captaining. Jason's captaining Jason.
Wow.
He's going to be captaining Rashford, he said.
Yeah, there's been talk in the community about it all week, and Rashford, he scored the other day in the game, obviously in the League Cup game as well, and he's been in great form for United this season, in a great World Cup. All the signs are there, and with City's high line, there's logic to it. At some point during this season, we're gonna have to take risks and go away from. I mean, in the previous game week, I captained Mitrovic. I know you did as well. That paid off because Haaland didn't return against Chelsea. So you can't constantly stick with this default Haaland captain. But having said that, in a double game week, it feels the same safe moves to do. But at some point, you're going to have to go away from it. So there's logic to it. I mean, Crystal Palace as well. I could see him returning in that game, so I can see why Jason's doing that, really.
Yeah, obviously Man City have got their double game week against Tottenham at home, and like you say, with the Manchester derby tomorrow, I just think it's going to be so tight. It's going to be so tight for both teams, and I don't think, I'm stating the obvious, neither one's going to want to lose, but will Man City's big guns, the likes of Haaland, Mahrez, Grealish, De Bruyne turn up? You just mentioned you've got him as your, you've got him as an asset. He's definitely a differential on me. Mm-hmm. That's a definite. That we know that for fact. Yeah. So you're going 2-1 City. I'm going the opposite way round. And I didn't even mention tonight's game. I expect tonight's game is it Aston Villa, isn't it?
It's at Villa's ground, yeah. Should be a decent match.
I'll go Aston Villa to win. Obviously, your mate Unai Emery, quite an attacking manager. Mm-hmm. And I think Aston Villa win this. I think they'll concede. I'll give Leeds a goal. I'm going to go 3-1 to Aston Villa.
Wow.
To hell with it. I'm going to go 3-1 to Aston Villa and then 2-1 to Man United. So then the following day, on the continuation on Saturday then, what's up next, Dan? Because I have
a very interesting game. Not double game week teams, but still an interesting fixture. Brighton versus Liverpool.
Yeah.
Van Dijk not fit for Liverpool. Nor Darwin, that fraud.
Do you know about that?
Well, I know about it now, but I don't care particularly because he was just a waste of space. I mean, I had him in for the the 2 games. Leicester did nothing. Brentford did nothing. He needs to be in the next Mortal Kombat. That is what his role is.
Yeah.
He's not a striker. He's a Mortal Kombat character. We've established that before, though. But anyway, Liverpool. Brighton have been very strong at home this season. I don't know if McAllister will be playing for them once again after his World Cup success of Argentina. Liverpool having this. I mean, I got Robertson in, and that was just a waste of money.
You still got him?
Yeah. So that's. No, I haven't. Sorry, I took him out for sure. What we're talking about. So.
So what has been your transfers this week?
I haven't done it yet.
So when did you get rid of Robertson?
For the previous game week we've just had, double game week.
Right.
Yeah.
So Robertson's got right. I see.
Because Man United had Bournemouth, didn't they? And he scored in that game, kept a clean sheet. It seems like a long time ago, but it was the one that paid off.
That's right.
Took the hit and it paid off. So going back to this Brighton Liverpool game, obviously talking about, I can't even pronounce his name. Brighton's Japanese player, Japanese international, Mitsumuma. I'm probably going to get absolutely savage in the comments for that, but was he 4.9?
No one comments.
4.8 as a bit of a cheeky differential, so that could be interesting. And yeah, it was 3-3 in the reverse fixture. Trossard got the hat trick at Anfield.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
We were covering that.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Christ, so, yeah.
I'm gonna. Do you know what? Stuff.
Was Graham Potter in charge then?
He was. Yes. Yeah. And the grass isn't always green, or the grass is very green around here. I'm gonna say 2-2. I'm going for goals this game week.
The fact that Darwin's out, it seems to put a lot of panic into fantasy football managers. Do you think it's really worth panicking about all these people? He's going to score 20 goals in a game. He's expected, Dan. Come on, Dan.
Watch your streams and you're talking about this guy, like getting all juiced up. It's like the Martial.
Jason is. I don't.
Martial thing, fascination that you both got, and I'm there just like, but look at what he's returned for what we expected at the start of the season. You know, it's not as if he's been. I know he's had some good game weeks or whatever, but all this, the chances that he's had. So I'm not bothered about him. But I mean, going back to the score for this game, what do you think, Liverpool Brighton?
Brighton, decent at home. Of course, there's a car park now just behind us, Dan. You can't make it. On Dartmoor, I never see anybody up here during the week, Dan.
That's
never.
Funny,
and all of a sudden, the whole frigging planets come up here. So yeah, back to this game. I expect to be goals. Salah at top on his own, do you reckon?
Yeah, ironically, you say that probably would work better for them. Well, it will work better for them.
Liverpool have been terrible away from home. No, I know that for a fact. So I think I love your score prediction 2-2. Saying all that, I'm going to go with Liverpool to nick it 2-1. Another 2-1 to Liverpool. I mean, even though I've just said their away record is shite, I'm going to say they're going to nick it, Dan.
You can make argument either way. Once again, I mean, these games, they're good. I mean, we'll go on to the next game anyway. Everton, Southampton. Now, Southampton...
Fuck me.
Southampton, this is a massive game. In terms of FPL, let's be honest, this game means nothing to most people. But in terms of the Premier League, survival, this game is a 6-pointer. And Southampton, Nathan Jones in charge, won in the FA Cup last weekend. Fantastic win in the League Cup. Part of me in my mind is thinking, well, okay, you got those wins in the Cup, but if I'm a Southampton fan in some parallel weird universe, is it that important to be winning in the Cups when you got the Premier League survival at stake?
Yeah.
Really. But, it's a massive win. And I think Everton are under massive pressure. They obviously lost 4-0 to Brighton. Was it 4-0 or 4-1? I can't even remember now. But they got tanked by Brighton basically. So I don't know if they're doing it.
Sorry, I'm just for the people that don't understand. I'm using a.
You wouldn't know that we both did A-level media studies because at the moment a camera works.
I'm using that to try and hold, but the problem is, Dan, is that I can't put it in the middle because it's going to turn the camera off, and I kind of can't be bothered with my arm like this. Although actually,
that's what I was doing before.
Ironically, it actually feels a lot more comfortable doing it like this. So just
make sure you get mine.
Get Dan's face in there.
Spot on my head. But anyway, Everton Southampton, massive game, huge pressure. Obviously at Goodison Park. I think Southampton are going to win after that win against Man City. I think their confidence is going to be, they're going to be momentum. So I'm going to say more pressure on Everton. I'm going 2-1 to Southampton.
Another 2-1.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to agree with you, Dan. Everton, in the words of Jason, are shite. Who did they lose 4-0 to last week? Crystal Palace. Brighton.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to agree with you. Southampton to win this. Let's go with a dire 1-0 win to Southampton.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be big pressure for Lampard. So going on to the next fixture, Nottingham Forest, Leicester. Leicester lost in the League Cup to Newcastle. Big win for Newcastle in that.
That's why we
game.
don't do 3 p.m. kickoffs, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Games are just...
I mean, these games...
from a fantasy football perspective, they have no relevance.
From an FPL perspective, we'll go through it quickly, but from a, East Midlands rivalry perspective, this is a big game, of course. Forest winning in the week against Wolves, so they progressed in the League Cup. Leicester didn't. I think Forest will take this game. Really.
Oh yeah.
I think Leicester are in real trouble after the sort of World Cup break. They've not really come back to their previous form. I'm going to say I'm going to go 2-0 to Forest.
Yeah, is Jamie Vardy fit? I don't think it really matters.
I don't know. He did play during the week against Newcastle, but he's at that age now where he's not, even necessarily to be able to play.
Well, same age as me and you. I think that
he's younger.
Well, only by a year or whatever. Madison's not fit, is he?
I don't think so.
No.
I'm not 100% sure on that. But...
So I'm just going to go with Nottingham Forest to win 1-0. 1-0. Nottingham Forest are really good at home. I'm going to go maybe a draw 0-0, but I'm going to go 1-0 to Nottingham.
Yeah,
Nottingham Forest.
Like I say, another derby game there.
What did you do in that video once? 1.
Probably. I don't remember all the things I do. Anyway, moving on to the next game. Wolves, West Ham, once again. We got to cover all these games, they're there.
We don't.
Well, we do, Steve. But there are people that may have assets to these teams. I don't know why they won't. The same people that captain Reece Nelson the time that he turns up and gets 2 goals against Forest. These people, and what do they know that we don't know? Wolves, West Ham. I mean, West Ham are struggling at the moment. Wolves obviously new management. They lost some penalties during the week, but West Ham they're just having a crap season. There's no, I can't,
They're like Mark Goldbridge there.
They're just doing terrible. That's my worst Scottish accent as well. I mean, Wolves can't
I'll give you mine, Dan. A dire 0-0. They'll take the draw.
Yeah, 1-1. Let's get on with it.
Wolves can't score. West Ham can't score. 0-0.
Let's get out of these sort of crap games no one cares about. Anyway, Brentford, Bournemouth. Another.
Keep on coming, Dan. Your local team. And mine, in fact, your home local team versus my home local team.
FPL derby.
Yeah.
The FPL derby, sorry. Brentford, Bournemouth. And Bremo, maybe consideration, budgetary considerations up front if you're going to be getting Kane and Haaland in. I don't know what Kane is. Kane and Haaland in. And Bremo in, maybe. Brentford are going to take this game. Bournemouth in 3-4 at the moment. Obviously got smashed by your boys last weekend in the Cup. I think it will be... it's hard to say this, but I think it'll be 3-1 to Brentford.
Tony available or not?
Blimey, I mean...
I don't think he is.
He had a terrible injury against West Ham. I mean, it's a strong lad, but I don't know if he's going to be straight back off.
What was it that I said on the stream last week? Bournemouth have conceded more goals in their past 3 games than they have all season at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, to hell with it. Brentford to win in a dire game. Let's go with a literally a dire 1 or 2. Let's go 2-0.
All right. So let's go on to Sunday anyway. Super Sunday. Every Sunday, Super Sunday with Sky Sports. Other TV channels are available.
Like what then?
We can't mention them. Chelsea, Crystal Palace. Obviously a London derby.
Gets worse.
Chelsea last night lost to Fulham as part of this
Did you watch the
game
game?
week. No, I was listening to it a little bit on BBC Sport, reading the match report. I mean, look, I had Havertz. What a waste of space.
Oh, did you have him? Oh,
I
yeah,
had
you
him.
did,
I took a
didn't you?
punt. I took a punt. I had Kepa, and I had Andreas. Obviously, most people had in Pereira, but I mean Chelsea.
So Havertz got you what, 4 points?
Yeah. Just as useless as Darwin. He was crap in the World Cup, crap in the Premier League. Thinks he's better than he is, and he wouldn't even get in Mortal Kombat. I can't even think of any of the beat-ups he'd get. Maybe Virtual Fighter or something.
Street Fighter, Tekken.
No, he wouldn't get in those games.
No.
Are too good for him. Anyway, Chelsea Palace. Chelsea. Felix is suspended.
What was the red card, sorry?
It was just an awful challenge. It was just a lunge. It was.
On who?
I can't remember, but Tete, I think it was, or something.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but it was just a lunge, and coming from Atletico Madrid, that mentality's still there for him. I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna go 1-1. Let's just get these crap games.
Well,
out
me
of
and
the way.
Dan are... Oh, there's another car, Dan. May as well just... If you can see through the steam field, which you won't be able to, but yeah, there's another car there. Oh, I'm in agreement with you. Chelsea are good at home, but they're shite. They're just shite overall. Crystal Palace are literally just 1 minute they win a game, next minute it's we've lost. Then it's win. Then it's did they lose 4-0? They lost 4-0 last week, didn't they?
Oh, what, Palace?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Spurs.
That's right.
That was a shock result in a way.
They've got no strikers. Chelsea. They're not playing Aubameyang. They've just lost João Felix. Havertz is a waste of space. He'll probably pop up with a goal now we've all sold him. Yeah. Same as Mason Mount. We've all sold him and he's going to pop up with something as well. I'm going to go with Chelsea to nick this 2-1 in an absolute... But if it ended like your score, 1-1, I would not be shocked at all.
Mason Mount is a good marketing man for these Havertz, but he just, as an FPL asset, he's just a waste of time. So, we'll move on, but, we'll move on from that game. Newcastle, Fulham.
This is tough.
This is an interesting game.
Yeah, Fulham away from home seem to like to score. They got Mitrovic back as well.
Yeah, against his ex-team, of course.
Yes.
So makes it
so you know he's scoring.
Yeah.
Newcastle, on the other hand, don't concede goals at home, and are just freaks of nature. But I don't know. They can score goals, but there's also that odd time when it's just like they pick. Well, in the big games, it's 0-0. Like we did for the stream the other, like me and Jason discussed. It's all the games away from home. If it's a big one, it's like they did with Arsenal, 0-0, and various other teams, 0-0. Crystal Palace, funny enough, was one of them. I'm going to go Newcastle to take this 2-1. Fulham are like the Leicester. Like, you always know they can score, but their games always seem to end 2-1 or like a high-scoring 3-2 or something. Well, Newcastle don't concede that many goals. And, yeah, I'm just expecting it to be like a relatively end-to-end. I'm going to go 2-1 to Newcastle. Yeah,
I'm going to go 1-0 Newcastle. Obviously, most people got Trippier. Well, everyone's got Trippier, haven't they? Fulham are doing great though. I mean, they're, 6th this season now?
Thanks to that result, they're 6 points clear of Chelsea.
What is interesting from an Arsenal fan's point of view is Willian. He's come out of nowhere. He obviously went back to Brazil to more or less semi-retire. Didn't quite fancy it there, and he's back in the Premier League, 34. But in the games I've seen him, I'm like...
He's looked good, hasn't he?
He's looked good, and I'm like, where was that for Arsenal all those seasons ago? But fair play to him, got an assist game week before or game week before that. Scored last night, didn't celebrate against his old team. As I say, players always score against that old team. But I just think that Newcastle's home form, with the League Cup game, the quarter-final, now they're in the semi-final, that's really opened up for them. And that League Cup is big for Newcastle. It's nice to see a team taking a cup seriously as a sort of traditionalist of cup football. And I think that confidence will see them through. So, on to the next game, Tottenham-Arsenal.
Here we go.
Now, obviously a bit of a, without going too much into it, a bit of a lump in my throat as I talk about this, obviously, because my uncle, Tottenham fan, passed away this week. So it's going to be quite weird watching this game, if I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Spurs, Arsenal...
What's the history between these two? Like off the top of your head? Put it on, Dan.
It's a bit warm in this car.
Yeah. What is the history between these two, like, in general, in North London derbies?
Well, I mean, the reason I'm blowing out is because the end of last season, they smacked us up 3-0. That's when Rob Holding got sent off, and that was just the... And then we went off to Newcastle and got spanked 2-0. Was it the week later or whatever? But we've got a good record against them, or a great record at the Emirates against them. But at their new stadium, not so great, really, in recent seasons. So I just wish Aaron Ramsey was still playing for us, because he always had a good record against them. Tottenham aren't having the best season. Obviously, they progressed in the Champions League. You know, beating Palace 4-0. They've still got Harry Kane. And Harry Kane, like I said to you the other week on messages, on WhatsApp, all elite sports players or sports people, they have you know, moments when they go down and they just come back. Like the World Cup, you know, he was gutted about the miss, but ever since he's just come back, and it's the same with, like, you know, De Bruyne, Haaland missing out on that. They just use that setback to drive them further, and that's what worries me. Is that Kane has got a fantastic. We always talk about the history. Got a fantastic record against us. If I'm honest, I'm hoping United beat City, and I'm anticipating a draw in this game. I know it sounds like I'm sitting on the fence a little bit, but it's a derby. Form goes out the window. You can see Son turning up as well. I should be more confident, but with our form, Nketiah's, you know, done well of recent. I really want to see Nketiah scoring a bit. He did score in big games last season. I want to see him do it again in this game. That'll be fantastic to prove the doubters wrong. I've waffled on. I'm gonna go 1-1.
You're going with
and it's not a bad result. I mean, I know we drew against Newcastle.
Yeah,
I mean, we have got tough games coming on. We've got to play Man City twice. We've still got to go to Anfield.
Well, I was going to say, how have you done against the top teams this year? Your title challengers / Champions League guys. How have you done?
I mean, decent. I mean, well, I know Chelsea having a terrible season, but we won away at Stamford Bridge. That was still a massive result. You know, we beat Liverpool at home as well. We beat Tottenham. Well, we beat Tottenham 3-1 in the reverse fixture. We're fantastic in that game. We did lose to Man United 3-1 away. There was a tactical change in that game, and that at 2-1 just...
That was really open end to end, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, ironically, the only game where I've been disappointed was against Southampton. That was the game that I went to see. Of all the fucking games. Anyway, sorry. Excuse my language. So, Tottenham Arsenal, what are you saying for this game?
I was really bullish in the last stream. Like, really bullish. Oh, yeah, good pun there. Yeah. I was really bullish about Tottenham, mate. I was thinking, you know what? I think that Arsenal can get something from this, like a 2-1. However, like you quite rightly stated, it's a bloody tough game, and because it's at White Hart Lane. No disrespect, in an absolute shithole of an area, but again, I'm kind of agreeing with you. I think 1-1, but the only hope for you is that Tottenham's record at home this season is again very similar to various other teams. Has all been hit and miss. Oh, here we go. Here's another car, Dan. It's all been hit and miss. And Tottenham fans are just getting really, really irked at the fact that they're kind of not getting the results that they want to get. At home especially. I'm going to go 1-1. But honestly, if it ended 2-1 to Arsenal, I think that could happen. But I'm going to go 1-1 just to sit on the fence.
All right. So that's the weekend's games anyway. Lots of big games, really interesting.
Because everybody keeps forgetting this is a double game week for Tottenham as well.
Yeah, of course. Going on to Wednesday, Crystal Palace at home to Manchester United, 8 o'clock kickoff.
I've had 2-1 written down in my head the whole time. Man United are going to make changes. I'm fully aware that Aaron Wan-Bissaka, this Dalot injury. Now, I know that Ten Hag was going to play Wan-Bissaka and Dalot to start. So Dalot was either going to start the Manchester derby and then miss the Crystal Palace game, or vice versa. I think it's going to be the other way round. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka starts the derby. He's done nothing wrong. He hasn't put a foot wrong. And then Dalot plays against Crystal Palace, even though ironically Wan-Bissaka's returning to Crystal Palace, and I think he'd want to, turn up and just, put in a shift and everything like that. I've had 2-1 written down the whole time, Dan, and I just think that Man United have got enough about them, but I do expect them to make some changes in the midfield and defence. Up front, it is going to be Martial, it is going to be Rashford, Fernandes, probably Anthony. I think Ten Hag is going, when we need our front three to be always playing together, to get them in harmony with one another, to help them understand, to get us to score more goals. In the defence, you can swap the odd player here or there. You need that concrete block. The likes of De Gea, Martinez, and then probably, Fred or Eriksen in front of them. Casemiro, of course. You need those key players, and Varane's another one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But you can always swap around the wing backs and everything like this. That's why, from my point of view, I know that my fight between Jason and me this week is Dalot versus Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And I'm worried that Dalot plays against Crystal Palace and gets an attack in return. I don't know what that's got to do with my prediction, but I'm just going to go 2-1, Dan, with the scoreline. Because I can just see Man United's momentum's there. And Crystal Palace is just a bit all over the place at the moment. And Zaha, like you say, going back to old clubs, he'll probably turn, because he always seems to turn up in these big games, doesn't he?
Zaha's an interesting one, actually, because I keep thinking in my head, this is kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent, but why are we not going in for Zaha? That could be an interesting one transfer-wise. But anyway, going on to this specific match at Selhurst Park, floodlights, evening game, here we go again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how United do, obviously, against Man City tomorrow, and that's going to influence this particular fixture in terms of momentum and confidence and whatnot. But I think United will take it. I'm going to go 2-0 to United, actually. I think it is interesting. Most people will have Rashford, Shaw, those are the typical template picks or whatever, but there are, like you said, Dalot, Wan-Bissaka, even some people, if they've got the funds, Fernandes as well. Anthony is a real punt. So there's different considerations there, but I think in terms of the actual result for this game, yeah, United will take it.
Yeah, so Jason's got Dalot, Shaw, Rashford. You've got
Rashford and Shaw.
Yeah. I've got Wan-Bissaka, Rashford and Shaw.
It's crazy. It's all deadlocked, isn't it? But moving on to Thursday, a very, very interesting game.
This is
final
fascinating.
game of the double game week. Man City versus Tottenham, 8 o'clock kickoff. And what is interesting about this game is we go on about the history. Tottenham's history against Man City
Yes, brilliant.
is really good. So we're going to wait. I mean, in terms of this double game week for FPL, it's massive, but also for the Premier League in terms of the games context of the
because
season,
depending on what happens at your game with Tottenham, let's just say it goes the way we think, 1-1.
I know what's going to happen.
Man City, you think Man City get the 3 points at Old Trafford. I think it's the other way round. And then it comes to this game where, depending on the thing, you could, in theory, potentially, let's just say you beat Tottenham. Man City lose at United. That's 8 points clear. And then imagine if Tottenham then go and beat Man City. You're still 8 points clear with a game in hand or something.
That's crazy. Do you know what the crazy for what I was just going to allude to is that, like, say if, Tottenham turn up against us, beat us, and then they go and they
beat
go
Man
to
City, yes.
Well,
yeah.
no, they go to Man City and they just we did our thing.
I can't imagine they'd be like that.
They got their DVD of beating us. That's all they need for their season. That's their highlight. But anyway, Man City, Tottenham. Yeah, like I said, going about the history, it'd be very. It's hard to call, this game. And in terms of the double game week, Tottenham assets. I mean, if you can try and get Kane in, obviously with his record
with
against
that
us.
Jimmy Greaves record as well.
Yeah.
Was it score one more, he equals it, and then another one, and he's beaten it.
Yeah, that'll be on his mind certainly. And there's obviously that subtext of when he was going to go to Man City and he didn't. Point to prove. So getting round to an actual prediction, because we spent the last 5-10 minutes.
Can't be doing that. Apparently,
No.
we waffle. Oh, this guy waffles on too much. Can't be doing that. We just want to know his transfers. We'll just skip along then. Anyway,
I'm gonna say 2-1 to Man City. Obviously, I don't want that to be the score. It feels weird saying it 'cause it's Spurs, but yeah.
Conte's going to put up a brick. We know what he's going to be like. It's just going to be whole possession. Give Man City all the possession on the planet. I just don't think Tottenham are defensively good enough to be able to cope with it. And I'm being very bullish with this prediction here. And I'm going to go, Dan. I've been thinking this all week. I'm going to go with a 4-1.
2. You just said 4-1. You didn't say
to Man City, mate.
All right. Well, you never know. I mean,
I genuinely think that they've got to fucking go for this, Man City.
all right.
Depending on what, obviously, it all depends. Well, it doesn't matter what the result is at Arsenal. They have to win. They're 5 points behind right now. Right now, as we're speaking on Friday morning at 11 o'clock or whatever it is, 12 o'clock now.
It's 1 o'clock.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's 1 o'clock. May as well have done this live. It'd be live on the deadline. We're recording this now at 1 o'clock, and you're 5 points clear. Right? You're 5 points clear. I expect Man City to obviously go to beat both Man United and Tottenham. In fact, Man United's record against Man City is pretty bland. I think the average history score is 2-0 to somebody, but usually in the favour of Man City. So let's just say that's 3 points based on the history. Let's cut it down to 2 points. History against Tottenham away is basically you losing. So we're now down to 2 points. Man City beat Tottenham. They go above you by 1 point.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be fucking bullish, and I think they're just going to go for it, and I think they're going to batter them. And I truly think that Haaland could do some serious damage. I think they're going to have some fun, Dan. Do you think I'm mad or just...
No, not at all, really, because let's be honest. I mean, I know Tottenham got a great result against Palace, but they've not been having a good season at all. Their fans have not been happy with the way Conte's, playing, setting the team up, the style of play. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And big players turn up in big games. It's a massive week, really. Massive double game week. So, I mean, those are our...
Well, it's massive in the sense of we've all got similar players, but it's just the odd differential that people have got. Whereas this fight between... Spicy. Yeah, this fight between me, you and Jason is just, like I said, it's by 4 or 5 points in it, mate.
It's Royal Rumble style.
Yes. It is. We've never had a season like this.
It is fun.
Because normally, let's get real here, Jason's normally miles ahead of me. I'm normally I'm normally quite a bit ahead of you. And you're just kind of plodding along, trying to get the... Now, you're ahead by 5 points. It's amazing.
It's a bit like Arsenal, but 5 points.
Yes. But this week is pinnacle because that beautifully links us into that point of what we've done with our teams. I'll tell you now, mate, I've done a -12.
What?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm deadly serious. Because I've got rid of the absolute fucking shite in my team. So, we had the news that Darwin... So that tosser that commented about, we just want to know his transfers. Well, this is what you're going to fucking find out, boy. What, boy? So, I was revealed by FPL Focal, and then Let's Talk FPL kind of confirmed it, that basically they've received news from a source, a very reliable source, that Darwin hasn't been training, and that actually he's probably going to be out for 3 weeks.
Good.
2 to 3 weeks. So I'm thinking...
Liverpool is good.
Well, I did a transfer the other day. I did Reece James out for sure. I did that on... When was the last game?
What,
so
United's
Thursday? No, so it was FA Cup, so it was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I did I did Reece James out for Luke Shaw. I just did
copying me, basically.
And Jason, yeah. So I brought in Luke Shaw, And I thought, hold on a minute, Steve-O, what are you bringing in the defender for when you've kind of got players against? I just thought, well, it's just to catch the price rises, which I didn't do. And I just thought, well, it kind of blocks off Jason and you. It's like, certainly blocks off Jason. Yeah. But of course, then we got the dilemma of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dalot. Well, I've still kept Aaron Wan-Bissaka, that's fine. And then yesterday, a bit like this whole attitude that me and you have got this season, which is, for fuck's sake, it's a game. Like, why is this affecting our mental health the way it does? Like, we could be here all day talking about it, and we're not going to, and we know that there are valued members of the community that have left fantasy football this season because of what it's doing and all this nonsense, which is fine. And basically, I just thought, well, Darwin's out, Robertson's a sack of shit, Liverpool are conceding goals. How do I get Kane in? Oh, I can get Kane in. Darwin out. Kane in. Botman in for Robertson. Botman's on the bench. But that doesn't equal -12, Dan. That's -8. I got rid of fucking Mason Mount because he's a fucking useless tosser. Who do you think I brought in, Dan, for Mason Mount?
Morris.
Yeah. I messaged Jason the other day and I joked and I said, I'm going to bring him in on the double game week. This is what he can do. And it was that free kick he scored. Pep Guardiola has essentially said, why would I drop these players when they're in form? In the Premier League.
And he scored the penalty as well, didn't he? Get his confidence back up on that side of things.
Grealish, Mahrez and Haaland are the front three at the moment. They're his front three. Yeah. They're not droppable. The only player that's going to be droppable is Grealish. I can already hear somebody saying, yeah, but Mahrez, look at his minutes. I don't give a fuck about that. He's playing these games. Last 3 games, 2 assists and a goal. In fact, fuck that. When you look at the cup games, he's been doing very well as well.
Did very well last season. Top scorer.
So I just thought, fuck it. It's a punt. It's now, I think I've just spat on your hand there. Spat on your hand.
Lovely.
Edit that out. I just thought, fuck it, Dan. So now, when it comes to me and Jason...
Getting a bit warm in here, mate.
It is indeed getting warm in here. I'll open the window. Do you want to hold the camera again?
Not
for a split
but
second. I'll open the window again, Dan. But yeah, my now differentials on Jason come down to... It's Mahrez versus Almiron.
Mm-hmm.
Kane versus Kevin De Bruyne. Wan-Bissaka versus Dalot. And there's another fucking player that I've completely it's Akanji. Akanji versus God knows who. But he's not playing because Jason's going to be playing a 3-5-2. Unless he plays Akanji ahead of one of his midfielders.
Okay.
There's only I looked at it yesterday. There's 4 differentials between me and Jason. So what's the differentials now between me and you? What players have you got in this double game week, and what transfers are you doing /done?
I want to do Morris. Before you said that this morning, that's what I was thinking of.
Yes, good. But do it, because you're probably going to now tell me and tell you, the audience, why.
Because he's playing well. He's full of confidence, and that. Mahrez always has, and it seems to be this time of year actually. He always has a purple patch during the season, and it feels like that purple patch is now. So, yeah, that's kind of what I was planning to. But when you hear that a rival's doing the same move as you, it's like mine's
a -12. Remember,
I'm sort of blocking you off in a way.
Yes.
Or you're sort of cancel each other out, but. It does affect the psychology of what transfers you're going to do, and it's sort of a bit like, well, he's doing that. Is there any?
But have you taken a hit this week?
I haven't done any transfers. I've got a few hours to do, but for obvious reasons, it's not been on my mind. But I've only really looked at it last night and this morning, and
that's been your motto all season.
Yeah.
Just you watch football. You see who's in form, and the reason why you're doing so well is because you're not doing this like overthinking. No. I'm not going to name them.
I did it after the World Cup when we went back into it, just maybe because of that routine.
I mean, I'm not going to name them, but an individual on Twitter, that's part of the elite FPL community, basically said, I overthink everything. I overthinked this decision between two. I'm not going to name the players because it would be obvious, but I overthought the decision making between these two individuals, and it messed me up.
Yeah, easily done if you consume too much content, read too much stuff. But
this is it. So you're going with Mahrez for definite. So would that be for free?
That'll be for free, yes.
So what double game week players have you got in total?
I've got. Let's start with the obvious. Haaland.
Yep.
Rashford.
Have you got Kane?
I haven't got Kane. No, that's an interesting one, but I don't know if I can do it. But I need
Do
to
it.
do it. So yeah, Rashford, Shaw, and then De Bruyne, which obviously.
So as it stands, De Bruyne versus Kane between me and you.
Yeah. Wow.
De Bruyne versus.
But you're predicting 4-1 to Man City.
Yeah.
And I would hope, but not hope. It's a weird conflict of interest that, you know, he would do something in that game if they were to win.
I expect Kane to score in both games. I mean, I'm looking at this hit from my point of view, where it's Darwin out, 0 points. So who comes in for him? Andreas. Who else is on my team? Bueno of Wolves. So what are they going to get against Newcastle / West Ham? Well, at best, Bremo 6 points. At best. Maybe bonus points. Let's just say 9. That's the extreme level. Andreas away at Newcastle, let's get real here, 2. Right? So I've then brought in Kane, who I expect to score ahead of Darwin, who's 0 points. For 2 games, I expect a minimum of 2 goals. So that's what? 4, 8, plus appearance points, 12, 4, 8, 10, 12. So that's 12. So I personally believe Kane cancels out the 12-pointer. That's what I believe. You've then got Mahrez, who I think across 2 games, I'm going to be bullish, mate. I'm thinking a goal and assist. Because he's in, like you said, he's in form.
Yeah.
Across 2 games, can he get an assist versus Man United? Yeah. Can he get a goal against Tottenham? Yeah. Or vice versa? Of course he can. Then you've got Wan-Bissaka, who I've just discussed, who I think personally is going to get 2 points across the 2 games. Maybe 3 if he gets a substitute appearance. And that's it. My differential. So I've got now Haaland, Mahrez, Kane, Rashford, Shaw, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I've got 5. But Haaland, Kane, Mahrez, and Rashford, they're your attacking players.
Yeah.
Whereas Jason's got the defenders. Akanji, Dalot, and Shaw. And you're the same. You've got KDB, Rashford, Haaland, Shaw. And no City, no Tottenham, no Man United defenders.
No. So that's, yeah.
So what do you think about that kind of, quote, logic from my -12?
It's like I said at the start of the video. It's a big double game week, and I can see the logic. Because like you say, it's players that are in form, players with history against, you know, teams that they've done well against, like Kane, for example. So there's potential for it to pay off, really. I mean, some people might be considering chips this double game week.
Are you? Triple captain's quite popular. I think there's better potential later down the line.
No, it still feels a bit too early, personally. But like I said, obviously the deadline is at 6:30 tonight before the Aston Villa Leeds match.
Remember, these people are watching this literally minutes before the deadline.
Yeah.
So do you think you'll do? Like, let's get real here. Will you be doing your transfer Mahrez in for whoever? Who would you be bringing in for?
That's the painful part.
You don't know.
I don't know. No, I'm gonna.
Who is your midfield?
Almiron.
Yeah.
Martinelli.
You're not going to get rid of him.
No, this is the.
Can you do it for free, Mahrez? Have you got money in the bank?
Got a bit of money in the bank, yeah. So, I don't know. It's a headache actually, because I feel like up front as well. I feel that Mitrovic will score as well. So it's that classic tension between players with a double game week and then players with good single game week fixtures,
Yeah.
even though it is Newcastle away, but Fulham in great form, Mitrovic against his old team. So it's a conundrum, if I'm honest. It's a bit of a headache. I mean, I could potentially take Almiron out, but that could screw me.
So you
over
can
longer
definitely
term.
do Mahrez in for free.
Yes. Yeah.
He's 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 2 million in the bank.
I've got money in the bank. Don't you worry about my money in the bank. There's always money in the bank with me, mate. So I'll figure it out. But it could, like I say, it could be a 4-8 -8 hit later on to get a trigger.
Well, I won't lie. I think that'd be great. I think for the
Or do you?
Yes, I do, because I think for the rivalry between because
Jason,
Jason.
it literally is deer.
Is there?
No.
Oh,
I
right,
was just
sorry.
making the analogy, but it's alright.
But for a rivalry point of view, if you take a -8, you're now below Jason. I take a -12 and below Jason. But the players that he's got, are they good enough to be getting the points which the players that we bring in, we hope will get across these two game weeks? That's the thing.
I'm probably just going to do these transfers at lunch because you're taking me somewhere nice for lunch shortly, aren't you? So I'm getting hungry. So I'll probably just hide my phone up.
Just do it. It doesn't bother me. I've already done my transfer. I'll show you my team. And this is vintage. I can get a less. Because this is going to be massive for me, you and Jason. Because he ain't going to be taking a hit. Because who's he going to bring in? He's not going to bring in Kane. He's not going to take a hit for him. He's already got the big hitters. I think Jason leaves. Well, he will be leaving his team as it is with Rashford captain.
You never know with Jason though. It could be some man.
Well, if he takes a -12, well, he won't. But -8, -8 at most to bring in Harry Kane, I'd be fucking loving it. Because it goes back to that chess game where he's brought the player that I've got.
That's it.
Anyhow, Dan. Well, it's been a fucking pleasure, mate.
Yeah. Obviously, everyone keeps supporting Elite FPL, and pleasure to be on. Really looking forward to this double game week as well. Enjoy it, and remember that. Well, this is going to be recorded, so deadline 6:30, and keep supporting the channel, subscribing, commenting on the videos, and just thanks for having me on.
Hold up the flag, Dan. The scarf, sorry, not flag. Hold up the Arsenal flag. That'd be the thumbnail.
There we go.
Come on, Arsenal's bullish about this. Sorry, Dan's bullish about Arsenal this weekend. So am I. I'm just going to clear off out of here. Cheers everybody for watching on this premiere. I really do appreciate Dan obviously joining myself. And yeah, as Dan said, just enjoy this deadline. I'm really. You got to use that word again, Dan. Bullish. I'm really Dan bullish about this weekend. And fuck it. Let's just have some fun. See you later.